All right, FightHype.com. Sean Patel here, joined with the promoter of Warriors Boxing, Mr. Luis DeCubas Sr. Louis, let's jump right into it, man. You promote David Morrell, who in just his third fight became the WBA interim champion of the world at super middleweight. Is your guy already ready for the best at just 4 fights, 23 years old?
Listen, the first time I took a look at this kid, I saw a tape of him fighting De La Cruz of Cuba. You know, he was a 27-year-old guy, already, two-time gold medal winner. And Morell was 17 years old. You know, the fight's on YouTube. Everybody can see it, The guy, right when I saw, he was 17 years old. He had fought, and he knows how to fight all 3 distances. The kid is, he's a special type of fighter. Right when I saw him at 17, he got totally robbed that night. And, then he went to Russia and he won the youth championships. He beat everybody there. He was the best fighter in the tournament. I've been dealing with Cuban fighters, all my life, since the Morell days to, the older guys that came in,
Casamayor, right?
Cuba. Jorge Luis Gonzalez, Joel Casamayor, Juan Carlos Gomez, Jovelli Hurtado. All those guys I dealt with, and in the second wave, Leonardo Dordicos, Guillermo Regendao, Yorkis Gamboa, Elizandi Lara. I worked with all these guys, and when I took a look at this kid, he does everything good. He's a good puncher, he's a good boxer, and I didn't know the kid, of course, when he was in Cuba, so I didn't know what kind of person he was, but I knew he was a special talent for the first time I looked at him at 17. I've been hearing rumors that there was a kid in Cuba from Santa Clara was, the best fighter in the island. I've been hearing about him, and then I finally took a look at when he fought Santa Cruz. I said, man, this kid is real. This kid he can do it all. He's really a good fighter. He could fight right now in the pros.
Well, he has, Louis, do you think he has more of an aggressive, fan-friendly style, which, Rigondeaux and Casamayor, they were great fighters, but every now and then you get fans complaining about the style. David seems to be a more aggressive kind of fighter, more crowd-pleasing. Do you agree with that assessment? Is he that?
100%. After they took away the point system in the amateurs, the Cubans turned their guys into very aggressive fighters. They made them, that you gotta attack to win. You gotta attack. They changed the styles from the fighters, and that whole 217-18 team, which is a lot of good fighters in that team. They're all hunters, and Morell's one of them. Morell likes to fight. He likes to fight. He likes to attack. He knows in the U.S. you gotta sit down and knock guys out. He knows that. He knows that from the beginning. But this kid can do it all. When we got the opportunity to fight Lennox Allen, the kid had 2 professional fights. I know Lomachenko, in his second professional fight, he fought Salido, which is a tough game Mexican, but he was a forward type fighter. He came forward. Okay, Lennox Allen was an very elusive guy, and a guy that southpaw that I know spar with all the big guys over in the gym. So he knew how to handle strong guys, and I knew what I had. I knew that a lot of people say, hey, that's the wrong style for you. That guy's the wrong style for a young guy. He's a southpaw, and it was during the coronavirus. So I couldn't get no sparring for him. And the kid went and took care of business. He went there and he knew what he had to do, and he was. I got to give Adonis Frazier a lot of credit in there. He was in camp with Jamel James, the father of Shankara, and the guy got in tremendous shape. And well, you guys saw it. He could have gone 15 rounds, no problem. I knew that, and that's why I took the fight. I just knew I had the better guns all the way around. Only on 2 professional fights, but I saw it right when I started working with this kid that I didn't have to wait to make a move with this kid. I could go ahead and make moves now, and I knew it was a responsible move to make, because once you make moves like that, you got to fight the better guys,
Right.
And so it was I knew that going in. I said, listen, we're gonna fight Lennox Allen, which is, good solid guy, undefeated, a guy they know how to lose, veteran, and we beat him. Then we're gonna have to fight, better, And so I knew that going in, you know, with the kid, you know, and now, you know, we're the mandatory. We got to fight John Ryder now, you know, he's a solid guy, and you know, a lot of people thought.
Is that probably his next? Like you're about to say, a lot of people thought he beat Callum Smith, you know, just fucking out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tough guy, southpaw, you know, he's a good fighter. You know, take nothing away from no fighter. But I knew that going in, that once we, you know, we were the champ, we were, you know, we have to fight anybody that comes, any of the guys, you know, in the top 168. It's not, no, hey, wait a second now, we can't, because we only got, you know, 4 fights now. We got to avoid these guys, that guy. No. I knew going in that we were gonna have to fight, you know, the top guys. So, you know, here we go. John Ryder, he's a guy that a lot of people, you know, thought beat Colin Smith. And, you know, that's our next fight. And that's where the fans are going to see what I'm talking about with this kid. This kid is a special type fighter. And you're going to see this kid do things in the ring that you've probably never seen a lot of fighters do before. Okay. He's got great sense of distance. You know, I worked with all the great ones. I worked with Roberto Duran. I worked with Xavier Pedroza. I worked with Alfredo Gomez, Joel Casamayor. I hung out with Kid Gavilan when I first came to Miami. In 84, in 1984, when I came down to Miami, I hung out with him plenty, so I picked his brain. And, you know, of course, he fought the greatest of all time, Sugar Ray Robinson. So, you know, it was, you know, I got great stories, you know, for all the fights. Bill Turner, to Johnny Braxton, to, you know, to Carmen Bazillion, Sarah Cruz, to 2 fake fights to Sugar Ray Robinson. You know, we talked about everything. And I know one of the best stories, Duran was getting ready, I think it was for that Juan Carlos Jimenez fight, the second fight that I had him here in Miami. And Kid Gavilan was in the gym, you know, and they were going back and forth, who would have won at Walter, you know, between them two. So, and matter of fact, I got a picture here of Kid Gavilan and Duran and me, you know, back in the day, which is a picture I'm very proud of, because to me, it was probably 2 of the greatest fighters that ever lived, you know.
Absolutely. God, Luis, I would love, we got to talk again sometime where I could just pick your brain.
I anytime I came out when this kid came here, you know, and I made a statement. I said, hey, we're ready to go. You know, I know when his second fight, they put us in with Ralliford. I think he was guy had 20 fights, and kid had that hand, you know, and he went out there and blasted him out 2 rounds, you know, and you know, and I'm the one to start talking about, hey, we're ready. We're, you know, this kid's like a Lomachenko type. We're ready to go. And thank God PVC and, you know, and the people listening in, and we proved it. You know, our 3rd fight, we fought a tough guy, and now we're going to do it with John Ryder. Now it's the next one's a tough one, and we're going to show what I'm talking about. You know, I'm very confident what I got here.
Do we have a date or a venue lined up yet for this?
I'm waiting for the date and venue, and I know the kid's training. You know, last time when he fought, the last fight he fought with Garbanowski, Julian Williams was supposed to be the main event. The kid you know, Julian Williams fell out. It was the end of the year fight. The kid was a little heavy, you know, and so it was, you know, in 3 weeks he had to take off a lot of weight. He actually got down to 168 and a half, you know, and in 3 weeks it was high in weight, but now, you know, he's going to have plenty of time to train for this fight, and we're going to have great sparring for him now. It's a lot easier to get sparring now. We're not in the middle of the, you know, in the beginning of the coronavirus, we were the Lennox Alley fight, and the fans are going to see what I'm talking about, because after we beat Ryder, there's going to be a lot of other guys, you know, they're going to, you know, they will have to fight, you know, all the top, and then the 68-pound division is loaded. So I mean. And you know, Canelo, you know, Caleb Plant, Benavidez, you know, it's a loaded division. It's a stacked division. Once we beat John Ryder, then they're going to say, are you ready for Canelo? You know, that's the next what people are going to be saying. Are you ready for Canelo? And if we knock out Ryder, I think I can say we're ready for anybody in the world.
Okay. Which of those fights, I mean, obviously Canelo's the one you want the most, because he's the biggest fight in boxing. But which of those
They're all great guys. It's the type like the days of, you know, Hagler, Duran, you know, Leonard, you know, and it was and Hearns. It was that division, the big 4, you know, and now you got it in the super middleweight division. It's stacked, you know, you got a lot of great fighters in the super middleweight division, and then you got Charlo. He's talking about coming up with weight. which, you know, he's another, you know, great fighter, you know.
Which
so
of those
it
guys
makes it all wonderful,
feel,
you know, for the super middleweight division, you know.
Luis, which of those guys do you feel most realistically David can get the opportunity to fight? Is it Benavidez?
Wherever, you know, Benavidez doesn't have a title now, you know, so if we beat John Ryder, he wants to fight us, we're ready to go. I have no problem with Benavidez. I know he's a great fighter. He's one of a lot of people talk him. He's the only guy that can go out there and beat Canelo. You know, I saw his last fight. He's a good fighter, very good fighter. I know him personally. He's very aggressive. He can punch with both hands. But, you know, we're now, you know, we're at that level. We got to fight the best. So if it's Benavidez who got to fight, I'm not going to say no to it. And I know David ain't going to say no to it. We're not afraid of anybody at the 168-pound division. Of course, you know, Canelo's the one everybody wants. But if we got to earn it, going through Benavidez, that's what we got to earn it. Okay.
What kind of war would that be? What kind of fight would that be? Because, you know, David's, you know, talking about Morell would seem to be one of the rare guys.
I'd be taking the toughest guy out there. I'll tell you that. I'd be taking the toughest guy probably in the division. You know, Plant's a great fighter. He's very elusive, great boxer. You know, he's a very good fighter. You know, they're all good. I mean, so but a lot of people, you know, Benavidez, he's like the guy everybody's afraid of. You know, everybody's afraid of Benavidez. You know, that's what I hear out there, that he's and that's what the fans think. And you know, it's like I say,
that's why I keep
that's the fight got to be made. This fight's got to be made. You know, we're about fighting the best. You know?
That's why I bring up the fight, because if you got one guy who's avoided, and you got David Morrell, who we can assume will be avoided, then that's why, you know, that's the logic behind bringing up David's name so much. Is sometimes when two guys are avoided, they fight each other. But
like I say, once we get by John Ryder, you know, it's got to be, you know, the biggest fight out there. You know, wherever they want us, you know, wherever, you know, PVC wants us to fight, we're going to fight. We're not going to say no. Now, we're not going to avoid anybody. I think the other guys, Plant, Benavidez, all those guys have a lot more fights than we had. They've been on TV a lot more than they had. They pay their dues more than we have because they've been on, you know, they've been professional a lot longer than we have. So, you know, if we get offered an opportunity like that, our team's not going to say no, because we know what kind of fighter we have. I know what kind of fighter I have. I know what kind of fighter this guy can go with anybody. I know that. This guy is, I mean, I was there when Lara fought Canelo Alvarez. Lara's 54-pounder. I thought Lara won that night. Sort of the TV, Showtime had him winning, you know, and this kid's much bigger than Lara, and this guy can knock you out with either hand. He'll take you out, okay? So I was there, first row. And Canelo's a very good fighter, okay? He's very, very good. But remember, I come from the times of the Duran, Benitez, those kind of guys, you know, Leonard, you know, and, you know, Xavier Pedroza, Wilfredo Gomez, you know, I've seen the best. And I know what I have. I know what I have in this David Morrell, okay? He's a guy that, you know, he can fight you whatever way you want to go. If you want to slug with him, you'll slug with him. No problem at all.
When it's said and done, can he be the best Cuban professional ever? Does he have that? Do you think he can get that far?
Well, let me put it to you this way, okay? I had Joel Casamayor, and I had him for his first professional fight, his first 4-rounder, okay, here in Miami. I was promoting him at the time, okay? And I never thought about putting him into a world title fight until I sent him with, I think, 12, 13 fights to Joe Goosen, and he started training in California, and he started, you know, teaching him how to go inside, fight inside, and he started teaching him all the old tricks. And then I started moving with Casamayor after I saw what Goosen did with him. With this kid here, I can tell you, he was ready to go with anybody right from the beginning. I wasn't going to, and I had, with Rigondeaux, I made a move with Cordova when I put him for a interim world title fight with 5 professional fights, and he fought Cordova on the Pacquiao Margarito card. And, you know, and he won the inter-title fight that night. But, you know, he was 29 years old. He was an older guy, 28 years old, you know, and I put him with 5 professional fights because he really, you know, he was 2-time gold medal winner, you know. But with none of the other guys, Gamboa, you know, none of the other guys moves were made that quickly, you know. And the reason, again, it was a big responsibility in my part to say, okay, we're going to take this move because, you know, the kid's young, you know, and I can groom, take my time. get it to the right sparring and all that. And so it was kind of a, it was a very aggressive move on my part, maybe, by doing that. But I knew what I had. I've been around the game for 40 years. I had 23 world champions. And, when every once in a while, a kid like this comes around and he does things that, that the special guys do, and thank God I've been in the gym with the best. I've been in the gym with Roberto Duran, the list goes on and on. Whatever, I've been there day by day, and I see what they do, and this kid is very, very, very good fighter. He's a great athlete, and where he really, really showed me what kind of guy he was is when he went to Minnesota. Here he is coming out from Cuba, an island, and I tell him, hey, the best move is going to Minnesota. And we're doing shows at the Armory. You become the house fighter, it'll be a quicker way to the top.
Because most of those guys will go to Florida, right? Florida.
What?
Because most of those guys will go to Florida instead of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which is, Minneapolis is my hometown. That's where I grew up. So my nephew's got the Armory in Minneapolis. We're doing 4 shows a year with PVC, and we felt by him going up there, maybe we could be the fight, make Minnesota our hometown, and bring another world champion to Minnesota, which we did a lot quicker than we did with Jamel James and him. Both won the world title that same night, which was big for the state. And the kid never said, no, it's too cold, I can't do that, send me to Las Vegas, send me to Houston. No. The kid said, this is where I got to go, it's where I got to go, Right. And that showed me, the kid wanted to do it. He wanted to make it. He wanted to make it quickly, And he went there, and thank God, I saw the job that Adonis Fraser and Shankar did with Jamel James, which got better every fight. I was there watching the fights with PVC, and he just got better, when he from the Ramos fight, and then I just saw him better and better and better. I know when he fought the Mexican kid, he took some DeMarco, he took some vicious body shots, and I said, man, these guys can get this kid ready to go 12 rounds. And then I go to the gym, and Adonis Fraser's doing, Marvin had like Leo Talasides type conditioning. My daughter's godfather, which is the conditioner Marvin Hagler, he was doing that kind of conditioning for Jamel James, which is a lot of floor work, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of medicine ball, old school. And I said, this is exactly what I need, And the father's an old school trainer too. He knows all the tricks. So I chose the right home for him, and hopefully now he'll be defending his title in Minnesota, with Jamel James hopefully someday. That'll be huge for the state.
Well, Luis, man, it was great talking to you about David Morrell, because you like a great promoter, you really let the people know just what kind of diamond you got in David Morrell, to make sure he's not flying under the radar. Before I let you go, Luis, I had to ask, because I know you knew Roberto Duran. Bob Arum, he likes to compare Teofimo Lopez to Roberto Duran. There's a few people who like that comparison. What do you think of Teofimo Lopez? You've seen the best of the best. Is that kid approaching near the level that Roberto Duran was as a fighter? Not to get ahead of ourselves, but is there any similarities there? I just want your take on that.
The kid is very, very strong. Okay, I got to tell you, very strong, good puncher. Okay, he's a very, very, very good fighter. Okay, to me, at 35, he's definitely the top guy out there. He beat Lomachenko. Which to me is not a 35 pounder, solid 35 pounder. He's a smaller guy. Right. He's a 30 pounder. I know. When Rigondeaux fight him, he was really an 18 pounder fighting a 30 pounder. It wasn't. That's the way I looked at the fight. Okay, but at 35, definitely the kid's got jobs. The father's done a tremendous job with him. He's gotten ready, but to compare him to Roberto Duran right now, to me, I don't think it's it's completely fair. I mean, Duran, just fought Esteban de Jesus twice. Three times. Actually, he was beaten the first time, and they knocked him out. Esteban de Jesus, he fought. He fought the best lightweights in the world. Talking about probably the greatest lightweight that ever lived. Roberto Duran. You talk Roberto Duran, let's talk Benny Leonard, let's talk Ike Williams. Even Julio Cesar Chavez you can put into the mix. Guys are great lightweights. But give this kid a little bit of work, you know, let him go out there and be who's out there now. And I don't know how long, even know how long this kid's going to be at 35. He's a big kid. He's very strong, and I don't know how long he's going to be at 35. So to make that comparison now, I don't think it's really fair to, you know, to Duran, you know.
I meant more eye test, you know, not because, you know, accomplishments are going to pale in comparison to Duran. But you were there when he was a lightweight. Is he in the ball?
No, I was not there when he was a lightweight. I seen all his films. I took over Roberto Duran's career at the end. I was, you know, the one that orchestrated the Barkley movement. You know, when we fought Victor Claudio, Mark Carlos Jimenez, Ricky Stackhouse, Paul Thorne, Jeff Lannis. Then we fought Barkley. And then we got the Leonard fight. And then I stayed with him throughout his whole career with Camacho and Paciencia and the USA fights with Mike Akery. And that was I was never there for the lightweight, but I seen the guy. I mean, he was at 35 was a fighting machine. And then you got to remember, this is a lightweight that came up and beat a big middleweight, and I ran Barkley. You know, the guy had beaten Ernst twice. So I mean, you know, and he beat the best of Leonard. I mean, he beat Leonard, came up and beat Leonard when he was undefeated in Montreal. I mean, you know, so this kid is, to me, he's very good, very good. I haven't really seen him get tested yet with a good puncher. I don't know what a good puncher does. He hasn't been, you know, Comey was a good puncher. He never gave him a chance. He blasted him out. You know, but somebody that can crack, stay there, and fight with a guy, and he gets hit, and he hits back. That kind of guy. When I see him with that, then I can tell you what I'm looking at a little better. You know,
right.
I think Lomachenko gave too much respect. I think he boxed him early. You know, I felt the guy's power. He's very strong, and he decided, hey, wait a second here, I can't stay here. You know, I got to box this guy. And later in the fight, he started turning it on a little bit, and he tagged him a couple times. You know, but he waited too long. And but he's very great. He's great for boxing, and you know, that's the way I look at it.
Thanks so much, Luis. We'll all be
looking
out for that official date for when David Morrell takes on Rhodes. Can't wait for that.
We're waiting. We're training. We're waiting. We're training, and we're taking the fight very seriously. I'm going to find good left-handed southpaws. You know, I know we're gonna get ready for the best John Ryder. You know. And prove to the world, once we go get by him, then, you know, like I say, you know, we're in a great division with a lot of great fighters, and you know, wherever they want us to fight first, the guys I mentioned, that's where we're fighting. You know, that's wherever PBC tells us to fight.
Thank you so much, Luis.
All right, thank you.